Welcome to Tech Spectrum Pro. Today, we delve into the realm of wireless encryption and security, a pivotal element in our increasingly digital world. The digital era we live in is remarkable, isn't it? We can connect to the world at the click of a button, access information in the blink of an eye, and share our lives with people thousands of miles away. But with great power comes great responsibility. And that's where wireless encryption and security come into play. Imagine if every piece of information you sent over the internet was an open book, visible to anyone who cared to look. Your credit card details, your private messages, your business secrets, all out there for the taking. That's what it would be like without wireless encryption. Encryption is like a lock on a door, a barrier that keeps unwanted visitors out of your private space. Now, let's talk about security. Just having a lock isn't enough if you leave your keys lying around for anyone to find. Similarly, having encryption isn't enough if you don't follow the best practices to keep your network secure. This includes things like regularly updating your software, using strong passwords, and being aware of potential cyber threats. In the professional world, the stakes are even higher. Data breaches can cost companies millions of dollars and destroy their reputation. It's not just about the money though, it's about trust. When customers trust a company with their data, they expect that company to protect it. And that's why robust encryption and security protocols are absolutely essential. The importance of wireless encryption and security cannot be overstated. They are the guardians of our digital world, the unseen protectors that keep our information safe. They are not just technical terms to be brushed aside, but crucial components of our online activities. Now that we understand the significance of wireless encryption and security, let's explore the different encryption methods used in wireless networks. First up is WEP, or Wired Equivalent Privacy, one of the earliest encryption methods. Introduced in 1999, WEP was designed to provide a level of security and privacy comparable to that of a traditional wired network. This was achieved through the use of secret keys, which were used to encrypt data before it was transmitted over the airwaves. WEP operates by using a set of keys, a 24-bit initialization vector, IV, and a secret key. The IV is a random number that changes for each packet, and together with the secret key, it forms the encryption key. This key is then used to encrypt the data using the RC4-stream cipher algorithm. The key features of WEP include simplicity and compatibility. It was easy to implement and compatible with all certified Wi-Fi devices. However, these advantages were quickly overshadowed by its major limitations. The primary limitation of WEP is its weak security. The 24-bit IVOR is too short and repeats often, making it susceptible to attack. The frequent repetition of the IV, along with the use of the RC4 cipher, which has known vulnerabilities, makes WEP encryption easy to crack. In fact, tools are available that can crack a WEP key in under 3 minutes. Another limitation is the lack of a robust key management system. WEP keys are manually distributed and updated, a process that is time-consuming and prone to error. Furthermore, once a key is compromised, all data encrypted with that key is at risk. Finally, WEP lacks support for advanced security features such as user authentication or dynamic key exchange, which are now considered essential for secure wireless communication. In today's context, WEP is considered outdated and insecure. Its weaknesses have led to the development of more secure encryption methods like WPA and WPA2. Despite this, DWEP is still used in some legacy systems, a fact that underscores the importance of regular security updates and network assessments. As we've seen, WEP, though groundbreaking in its time, is no longer a reliable encryption method. Let's move on to its successor, WPA. Moving forward, we have WPA, or Wi-Fi Protected Access, a significant upgrade to WEP. WPA was developed by the Wi-Fi Alliance to provide a more secure and robust solution for wireless networking. It offered enhanced data protection and network access control, addressing the vulnerabilities of WEP. It introduced a new method of encryption known as Temporal Key Integrity Protocol, or TKIP, which dynamically changes encryption keys for each packet sent over the network. This advanced feature made it much harder for hackers to crack the encryption code. WPA also introduced a mechanism known as Message Integrity Check, which ensured that packets were not tampered with during transmission, enhancing the security of data integrity. Furthermore, it provided support for Extensible Authentication Protocol, or EAP, which allowed for a range of authentication methods, offering flexibility and added security for network access control. Despite being a significant upgrade to WEP, WPA had its own limitations. Its TKIP encryption was designed to be hardware compatible with WEP, which, while beneficial for legacy systems, also meant it inherited some of the older protocol's weaknesses. As computational power increased, the dynamic key changes of TKIP became vulnerable to attacks. Moreover, WPA used a pre-shared key for authentication known as WPA PSK. While this was fine for home networks, it posed a security risk for larger networks as the same key was shared among all users. If one device was compromised, the entire network was at risk. These limitations led to the development of WPA's successor, WPA2, which addressed these issues and introduced even more robust security mechanisms. However, it's important to note that despite its limitations, WPA was a crucial step forward in wireless network security. It laid the groundwork for the protocols we use today, and its introduction marked a significant advancement in the protection of wireless networks. WPA introduced many improvements over WEP, but it wasn't perfect. Let's now examine its more secure successor, WPA2. Next in line is WPA2, the encryption method that's widely used in today's wireless networks. WPA2, or Wi-Fi Protected Access 2, is a significant upgrade from its predecessor, WPA. It introduced a new level of security and solved many of the vulnerabilities found in WPA. One of the key features of WPA2 is the implementation of the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES. This is a powerful encryption protocol used by the US government for securing classified information. AES offers a high level of security and is resistant to most attacks. In fact, it's so secure that cracking it would take billions of years with current computing power. WPA2 also includes a feature known as counter-cipher mode with blockchaining, Message Authentication Code Protocol, or CCMP. This is a replacement for TKIP, the encryption protocol used in WPA. CCMP is more secure and efficient than TKIP, providing a better defense against potential intruders. But what sets WPA2 apart from WPA is its mandatory use of these advanced security features. While WPA allowed for a mix of both old and new encryption protocols, WPA2 requires the use of AES and CCMP. This means that every device on a WPA2 network is guaranteed to have a high level of security. WPA2 also introduced a new mode called WPA2 Enterprise. This mode offers additional security measures, making it ideal for businesses and large organizations. It includes features such as server certificate validation and user authentication, which are vital for protecting sensitive data. So why is WPA2 the most used encryption method? Simply put, it's because it provides a high level of security without sacrificing usability. It's easy to set up, compatible with most devices, and capable of protecting your data from most threats. WPA2 has served us well for years, but with advancements in technology, a new standard emerges. Let's look at the latest encryption method, WPA3. Finally, we have WPA3, the newest and most secure wireless encryption method to date. As the successor to WPA2, WPA3 brings several significant improvements to the table, making it the future of wireless encryption. Firstly, WPA3 introduces an enhanced level of security. It employs a more robust encryption algorithm known as the 192-bit security suite. This suite is aligned with the Commercial National Security Algorithm, CNSA, suite from the Committee on National Security Systems, providing a higher level of protection for networks transmitting sensitive data. Secondly, WPA3 simplifies the process of setting up devices that have no or limited display interface. With the feature known as Wi-Fi Easy Connect, devices can be added to a network using a simple QR code. This is a huge leap forward from the cumbersome processes of the past. Thirdly, WPA3 improves defenses against dictionary attacks, a common method used by attackers to crack a network's password. It introduces simultaneous authentication of equals, SAE, a key establishment protocol that provides robust protection against such attempts. Furthermore, WPA3 brings forward a feature called forward secrecy. This means, even if an attacker manages to decipher the encryption key, they cannot use it to decrypt old data transmissions. This feature ensures the security of previously transmitted data, even if the current security setup is compromised. Lastly, WPA3 introduces a new method to secure open public Wi-Fi networks, which were notoriously insecure under WPA2. Using Enhanced Open, WPA3 provides individual encryption for each user on an open network, ensuring that their communication can't be intercepted by others on the same network. In conclusion, WPA3 is a significant upgrade from WPA2, designed to provide stronger, more robust wireless security. It is the embodiment of our ongoing efforts to stay one step ahead of potential threats and ensure the highest degree of security for wireless networks. In this rapidly evolving digital landscape, staying updated on the latest in wireless encryption and security is crucial. Remember, a secure network is the first line of defense against cyber threats.